All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday watch list. Last week, we did get some pretty decent price action for it being a short week. Now, coming into this new week, based off of Friday's price action, we did get a pretty big rejection on SPY and QQQ. And all it really was, guys, is just a retest of a key level of structure. So before FOMC had happened, we were consolidating in this range here for a long period of time from December 4th all the way to December 18th. It's about 2 weeks of consolidation. And when we broke down, we just flushed. So it caused a big reaction. And when we came back to retest, since it was a long way back up for the retest, it took some time for us to retest that area. But we came back to retest that 602, that 602 area, which was these lows here, right? Notice here. And all we did was just reject that area. So as long as we stay below that area, I'm just seeing this as a lower high for now. If it reclaims and gets back above this, I could see it pushing back to highs. But as of right now, since we did get a big rejection on Friday, I am going to be watching Friday's low, which is 591. Below that, I can see us pushing to 590, 588. And then this big demand zone down here, back into where we originally sold off for FOMC, which was down into like the 580s, right? So we have to see. I'm gonna be a little bit patient. This week, I don't know if we have like the market closes early how it did on Christmas Eve, December 31st, or I know January 1st is New Year's holiday, so I don't know if the market's closed or not that day. So I'm just gonna be be on top of that. I'm gonna try to get more info on that soon. And then I don't know if the market closes early Tuesday. But other than that, we don't have major economic data. And I think going into next week, I think next week we're gonna have good opportunities as it's the start of a new year. Let's see how this week closes out. But going into this week, the opportunities I see going into this week is I want to see continuation. No bias, but these are the levels I'll be watching. If we start reclaiming 595, we're probably gonna push back into the 600s, and this is where I want to be very, very aware if we're gonna get the rejection or reclaim above that 600, 602, 603 area. Any reclaim above that pushes us higher. Below Friday's low, I could see us pushing back down to FOMC's lows, which is down here, 585. Right, 585, 586 area. I could see us pushing down to there. Very simple on SPY. Q is very similar. We came right all the way into this 530, failed to hold 530. Now we're rejecting. This area here is a nice key level, as you guys can see. Back here it rejects. Here it bounces, and then here it bounces again. And now we're below that area. So now that we're below it, I'm gonna turn it into supply. And any type of retest of that area, we could look for rejection. So like 526, 527 for the move back down to these recent lows. Below 518, 516. It's kind of giving myself like a range here because if it breaks 518, 516 bounced aggressively last time. So really below 516 can open the door into 514 and 512. Now, 512 gets broken. I think that's where things start getting ugly, down into 508. And then if this FOMC, just in case, right? Like these FOMC lows down here, like post FOMC lows get taken out, 500's next on Qs. So like 501, 500. So we could keep an eye on that area. This recent low will be the main target if we get aggressive to the downside. But as of right now, that is what I'll be looking for. Going into individual names, my favorite one, I'm just gonna start off. I don't have too much on watch this week. Spy Qs being the main ones. I like Tesla a lot though. I took this trade on Friday. Contracts went from like $400 to like $1,800. Didn't catch the whole move, but I did make a little bit over 50% on that trade. And it was just the key levels, like guys. I'm telling you guys about these key levels. I'm looking for the biggest reactions. So if you guys see here, huge reaction Friday, December 20th. Look at the sell-off. We hold it, break and retest. Huge reaction back towards the upside. And look how it was pre-market low Friday. Broke below it. Huge reaction back to the downside. So I was able to capitalize on that sell-off there. Beautiful, beautiful move. Tesla's down about 4.95%. It did close in this area of 427. So I'm gonna be watching that area very closely. It's a demand zone. Um, any type of break below 427, I could see this pushing to 420. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. If it continues to hold, we could look for the bounce into like 440, 435, 440. I'm not bullish on this unless it gets to back above 448. That's where I'll start looking longs into like 468. Could catch some relief into 440, don't get me wrong, right? But I'll be looking more so for the short below 427. Above 440, I'm already starting to look for 448 and so on. So just focusing on the levels and waiting for them to hit. So that's gonna be my main one. Apple's getting a little interest. Apple's just been so strong, right? Every pullback has been getting bought up on Apple. So I want to see, is this gonna be another one of those scenarios where, right, look, recent high, holding as support, holding as support. Does this recent high hold as support again? Or do we get the break and hold below, which should push us to this trend line close to that 250 mark? Below 250, then we could see 245, 246. It could be a decent trade. Just trying to get signs of reversal. We finally got a big sell off on Friday, but the Apple's just been so strong. Like every pullback's been getting bought up. So any holds of this can push it back into highs as well. So just be watching price action here. Apple will give us sentiment on the overall market as well. So I think it's an important one to keep a close eye on this week. Amazon's also reversing here, as you guys can see, right? No longer forming higher highs and higher lows. We failed to break back above these recent highs, lower high. I'd watch this 216, 218, not my main watch, but just keeping it on watch. Microsoft and Meta are still weak as well. AMD. It's gonna be a very short Sunday watches from you guys. Very, very short. Which was the other one I don't watch? It was, let's go over these first real quick. So Meta is below a supply, which is 605, 608. Big rejection zone. If it gets anywhere back above or anywhere near that 605, 608, we could watch it for a rejection. Holds below 600, I could see it pushing to 580. So it's worth noting on this one. Now Nvidia is interesting. I'm gonna be watching this 132 area. Below 132 on Nvidia is a big area of support. If things do get weak below 132, should push us back down to this demand zone here. If it holds, all right, start looking for breaks out of this 140, 141 area. Above 140, 141, long, anything in the middle, I'm just not interested. So, all right, the last few trading days of the year, I think as this week goes on, the setups will start to present themselves maybe like towards midweek, even like next week. I think we'll get some really good opportunities. PL everything from the watch list last week was amazing though. If you guys starting from Starbucks, Nvidia, PLTR, it was an amazing watch list last week. So let's see what we get this week. Going back into PLTR, we're back in that zone. We did sell off aggressively. So below this zone here, 77, could start pushing us back down to the bottom of like 75. Bottom of this zone here, 72. So it's worth noting. Other than that, guys, I'm gonna keep it short and simple. I'll update it in the broadcast channel, and then code XMAS for 40% off on the course is still going to be valid until New Year's. So if you guys did want to learn how to create my watch lists, how to better define your risk management, your risk reward ratios, type of setups to take. There's so many examples in there. It has over 70 lessons now. I just keep updating it. So code XMAS is live still, XMAS, 40% off. And I'll put the link in the description. Thank you guys for watching and Happy New Year's, guys. Peace.